Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Congrats out there, MJ Bulls. Can you feel the sentiment shift in the air? It's all over social media. It's on Twitter. You've got people like Peter Brandt, who is a respected technical analyst, old school, with 300,000 plus followers, posting about the breakout that we just saw on CGC that we've been scouting, the weekly inverse head and shoulders, the weekly trend change. It has broken. So I did a video earlier today, it's on our YouTube channel, of showing my short-term day trades today and also talking about the pattern that I've noticed over the last 3 days of how CGC's trading has been very similar Thursday, Friday, and today. Of course, today standing out more so for the bulls, but this is as convincing as you can get. We took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistance levels on this daily time frame in one candlestick with twice the daily average volume. That's best case scenario. That leaves no doubt as to whether we broke resistance or not. If we had broken, 2165 and then topped out at 22, it'd be a very different story right now. But a very significant move. Shorts are being trapped. And we have currently the highest price that we've seen in 3+ months, which means if you have gone bearish in the last 3 months and it did not cover, you are now underwater and in a red position. And there are definitely shorts out there where that is the case. So we have APHA earnings tomorrow pre-market, which is going to dictate short-term direction. I have seen enough that, in my opinion, a bearish reaction to APHA earnings will not derail these bulls. There's been enough of a sentiment shift, and I would look for a dip buying opportunity on a bearish reaction, and I do believe that bulls would be pretty quick to buy that dip, at least on CGC. Hourly time frame, no real consolidation today, so if we do see a bearish reaction, I will be among those dip buyers as well. I'm currently in a cash position, not going to risk the overnight reaction, or I should say the morning pre-market reaction. And that's just me, again, being conservative. Right now, my account's at all-time highs today, and I have no reason to take on that extra risk. If I was looking to be aggressive, I would absolutely be swing trading a position and hoping for a bullish reaction and a gap up open, knowing that that would just put a ton of pressure on shorts if that were to happen. If that were to happen, it would certainly be a gap up where we look for profit taking due to the lack of any hourly consolidation and the fact that we've gone 15% with no hourly consolidation. But again, it would definitely put shorts in a further world of hurt. So now that we have a weekly trend change on CGC, we're watching for APHA to try and see the same thing. Cureleaf has a weekly trend change on the table. IIPR, GTII. There's a handful of names now that are going to try and follow along, follow the leader. CGC and APHA have been showing us for over a month that they are the strongest Canadian MJ name, technically speaking, and we're seeing that follow through at least to start today. So what are we seeing bigger picture now? Let's zoom out to the monthly time frame because, again, not to damper the party, but we are going to be looking for a monthly lower high to be a result of this bounce. And anything under 52.74 is going to be a monthly lower high. So that's not a very bold call to make. The question is, where is that monthly lower high going to form? And there's a whole bunch of factors that go into that. APHA earnings reaction, CGC's potential, or I should say CGC's eventual earnings reaction, S&P 500, can we keep this market euphoria up? These are all going to be factors as to where we can make it to on a bounce, but the darkness is over short term for now, in my opinion. And it was that low. Remember that low of 1381, and we said that that was likely going to be our bottom due to the volume climax. Nice to see it play out after a couple months. Hourly higher low will be expected on any consolidation. When we eventually do lose the hourly uptrend, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's in 3 weeks, we're just going to be looking for a daily higher low to form compared to $19. So again, the switch has been flipped. All you got to do is go on social media and see everybody talking about CGC after people have not been talking about it at all, aside from people that only follow the sector. APHA, big day today, bulls buying into earnings. Remember back here where we were talking about the play into earnings being bulls viewing it as a discount, bears looking to lock in their gains. That followed through in a huge way. Now it's just 561 and 570. And if we get a bullish reaction tomorrow, the weekly trend change will confirm and follow in behind CGC's footsteps. Where's CGC's resistance from here? 2317, 2375, two short-term levels. And APHA, all about make that all about 570 short-term. Cron, big bull day, but again, not nearly as strong. We have not broken 596. We are currently still 10% plus below this level, 5%. So 5% plus below 796 and 805 resistance, which is why we can clearly say CGC and APHA have been standing out stronger than Cron. I would call Cron a weekly trend change if it can break 805 and 796, if it follows along with those two leaders. ACB, nice bounce today again. We've talked many times about how we want the weakest names in the sector to be green, so the sector can be green as a whole, and that was good for today. But we dropped down to a lower low today. Anything under 188 is a daily lower high. That's still 10% away. We're not close to being anywhere near bullish on this daily nor weekly time frame. So again, a ton of proving for these bulls still. Nice to be green, but way behind what these other names have established with this trend change. TLRY has a base of support, and if we can break 1778, its short-term momentum will shift. But again, anything under 2569 will just be a weekly lower high. So it's one of the weaker names, nowhere near a weekly trend change at this point, but still seeing green thanks to sector correlation. One more point on CGC I want to point out is the correlation to the S&P 500 today. Correlation has definitely been coming and going with the S&P 500, but it is worth paying attention to every single day to see if it's there or not. And this right now is going to be the 2-minute time frame. The candlesticks in front are going to be the S&P 500, and the candles in the background here is CGC. So what I want to point out is CGC hitting the low of the day where SPY hit a low, bounce to the high of the day when SPY hit the high of the day. Here goes CGC exploding while SPY heads to a new high of the day, and then just a slow and steady bull move up into the close. And is it tick for tick correlated? No, but it absolutely is playing an impact. And I believe it played an impact on Friday's afternoon weakness as well, as the S&P 500 pulled back from its high at about 1 to 2 p.m. So bottom line is pay attention to it because it does still have implications in my opinion. OGI, nice big green day, bullish engulfing candle, but anything under 250, just a daily lower high. That's over 10% away. Hexo, nice solid bounce the last couple of days, but anything under 168 is just a lower high. That's 10% away. So again, the weakest names are seeing upside. Maybe some of them will have bigger percentage gains when it's all said and done compared to some of the bigger names, but I personally would much rather focus on the more bullish names as bulls than I would on focusing these weaker names, hoping they can change the daily trend and then eventually change the weekly trend. A lot of these names aren't even close to changing their daily trend, while CGC and APHA knocking on the door of the weekly trend change. IIPR, we were watching this 4-hour cup and handle, followed through beautifully. Weekly higher low clearly set. 87.20 break would change the weekly trend and give us the monthly higher low that we were scouting. And again, we're scouting the monthly higher low. We need the weekly trend change, and it's all slowly but surely shaping up. Increasing bull volume, very strong close. If we fail 87.20 and lose the hourly uptrend, we'll just be looking for a daily higher low. Anything above 71.90 is a daily higher low. Curaleaf, still inching closer. 937 is that weekly resistance, and we got within about 4 or 5% today. We would have to lose the daily uptrend without breaking 937, and our higher low right now is in the 750s, so even if we fail 937 on an initial attempt, we will look for a daily higher low compared to the 750s, and if we were going to see a loss of the Curaleaf daily uptrend, there it is, it wasn't updated, so we got real close. Now we're within 3.5%. We would have to lose the hourly uptrend, see a daily higher low form, fail to break the resistance, and then lose the daily uptrend if we're going to see a weekly equilibrium. So more and more, the odds every green day shifts the odds more favorable for the potential of a weekly trend change, and bulls would just want to ensure that it was a nice green volume week if we were to break 937. So CWeb today is still a potential daily bear flag. It's still a weak bounce. It was the only red name on my screen the majority of the day. And anything under 1031, which is still 15% away, is just a daily lower high. So we're not even close to changing the daily trend. It is the weakest name on the USMJ sector, and lots of work to change any trends. TRUL, trying to still see this base of support, but no follow through. This upper wick is not an ideal sign here. More and more murmurings that we might have to wait till 2022 for Florida legalization now, aside from the last hope of a lawsuit against the state. But if that lawsuit doesn't do anything, and if the legislator does not do anything, then it's going to take another couple years. Not necessarily bad for TRUL. Bad for short-term traders that want to get rich, that would look for a huge hype all-time high run if we were to legalize in 2020 in Florida. But TRUL is going to keep doing its thing. It'll have less competitors, and it will keep its stronghold on the state as it continues to see medical growth. So not necessarily the end of the world. IAN, all about 216. I still consider anything under 216 a daily low or high. So our high, low, have to break 216, otherwise we still look for the equilibrium. Why isn't this candlestick from Friday our lower high? Because every single day is a higher low, and it wasn't a clear enough pivot point. If we had broken the low of Friday, 186, then I would have said, yes, that is our lower high, and now we're looking for a higher low compared to 175. That did not happen, so I do not consider our lower high set yet. All about 216 resistance in the short term. If we lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 216, we then look for the daily higher low compared to 175. GTII, 1286 resistance, rejecting the price, at least initially. If we break 1256, the low of today, then we have our daily equilibrium to watch. If bulls can break 1286, it's a great sign, and then we're looking to 1359 for a weekly trend change attempt. CL, weak, not doing anything for the bulls. I would need to see the bulls get over 850 to try and shift short-term momentum. Short-term support is 745, and it's not a convincing daily higher low compared to 726 at this point, as bulls are really struggling to get any follow-through. HARV, daily inside bar, if it breaks bearish, our daily lower high is set, and we look back down to 354 support. If it breaks bullish, 441 resistance on watch. And MedMen, trying to base out here, need to see a bull break of 75 cents for a weekly higher low to be set on MedMen. Special honorable mention for CVSI. I have no interest in it, but if you are looking at these small cap MJ names, it looks prime for a volume spike and a bull move if we can get over 107 and look up to 134. Double bottom at the low and trying to change the daily trend and see the first bull cross of these exponential moving averages since we started dumping in the $5 range. Here we are 80% lower and trying to see the first bull cross if we can get over 107 with some follow through. So that's where we stand. Again, congrats to the bulls. Awesome day today. And bulls are not concerned about the earnings tomorrow, in my opinion. It would be nice for a bullish reaction and a gap up open, but I do believe it is a dip buying opportunity. If it's a bearish reaction, I would be looking to buy the dip on CGC personally, if that is what we get. Weakest name, still very weak, even though they're seeing some upside. The leaders that stand out to me, CGC, APHA. I skipped some names. I'll look at VFF and Labs in a second. GTII trying with CURA on the US side, and IIPR is in there as well. VFF, nice volume, nice bounce, but again, we drop down to a lower low, and anything under 642 is just a daily lower high. So that's still 15% plus away. We're not close to changing the daily trend nor the weekly trend. Labs, nice green day. Anything under 14, make that 418, is just a daily lower high, but the bulls are hoping to eventually change this daily trend. If we have to set an equilibrium, if the equilibrium were to break bullish, it would give us a new weekly higher low, and then we have to get over 418 to change the weekly trend. So add that to the list of names that are close to weekly trend changes, and VLNS already changed its weekly trend. Don't forget that. Very quick consolidation and very impressive V-shaped recovery to follow through. And that volume is what did it. Very impressive break of 364, continuing its weekly trend change. So far, out of every name that we just looked at, CGC and VLNS are the only names in weekly uptrends. APHA is knocking on the door, IIPR, Curaleaf, GTII, all knocking on the door as well. And Labs among them. Let's see if Labs can follow VLNS. Tomorrow morning pre-market will be interesting. Certainly going to anticipate volatility tomorrow in the sector regardless of what our reaction is. And with volatility comes trading opportunity. Make sure and check out that other video if you're interested in the short-term little day trades I was doing today, as well as the observations for similarities in CGC over the last 3 days. Then do some good things, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. So as traders, one of the skills that we want to hone in on is the art of observation. I talk about that in one of the sections in one of our courses. But an example of that in everyday life is last night we had a tornado warning, which was very strange, but a downpour of rain. And now we've got a whole week of pretty much spring of highs in the upper 60s, and that is very unusual as well. But what I like doing is going around the yard, and this is why I like gardening so much, is every single day you're just noticing tiny observations. How are the plants reacting to the weather conditions? How are the plants reacting to different nutrients? How are the plants reacting to different pests? How are the pests reacting to different things? And just watching things as they grow on a daily basis. So after today, I just go around the property in the morning here, because the rain happened last night, and just notice all the little differences. This is a big rut that a bunch of rushing water moved around all these pieces of gravel and dumped them in a pile here. We can see the pond is all muddy from the rushing water, bringing in a whole bunch of soot. And here's the entrance where the water comes in. And you can see a big old bunch of soot there, and there's no water coming in now because this pile of sand right here wasn't here yesterday. And it literally is about 2 feet of sand that I'm gonna have to dig through because there used to be a little channel right here, and that leads to the pipe, and then that pipe goes into the pond. So a significant amount of sand has been moved overnight. And then I walk down here and I can see this leaf line, and that tells me that this creek overflowed last night and got high enough that this leaf line was the border of the water on this side of the hill. And I can see the other side of the hill with all those leaves got a whole bunch more. And fortunately it subsided, but all of this debris giving us clues as to what has happened.